Uh,
Yes, we can start.
I think Dr. Ibrahim's
Yeah, yes.
mic needs to be unmuted.
Yeah, I think it's better to open. Please, Dr. Ibrahim, open your mic. It's okay. Yeah, start.
It's okay now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise belongs to Allah, especially merciful Creator, Nourisher and Sustainer of the universe, Lord of the worlds, exceptionally merciful Master of the Day of Judgment, to whom is our ultimate return. Our choicest salutations, durood and salam upon our spiritual Master, the best of Allah's creation, most eloquent in speech, most perfect in character, most humble in status, the most dignified in victory, the perfect example for all mankind, and a mercy to all of humanity, our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I welcome you all on behalf of the International Institute of Islamic Waqf to this presentation by our beloved brother, Dr. Ibrahim Blushi from Kenya, who is the CEO, I understand, of the Waqf Commissioners of Kenya, mashallah. Sheikh, welcome to this webinar this evening. And we wait with great interest to hear about the Waqf work that's being done in Kenya, mashallah. So without further ado, I hand the mic over to you and invite you to share with us the work that is happening in Kenya, mashallah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa bihi nasta'een. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I take this opportunity to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to thank our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for this opportunity of knowing the waqf and also all issues which are pertaining to the socio-economic development as it has been entitled. Today, inshallah, you know, I thank the organizers of this daily Ramadan International Waqf lecture program, as well as the organizer المعهد للدولي المعهد الدولي للوقف الإسلامي International Institute of Islamic Waqf for these good gestures of bringing together all experts, scholars, and intellectuals to understand the essence of waqf and to learn from other experience so that we can improve and develop it to the next level, especially for we are as developing countries, but the waqf which has played a pivotal role, especially in the Far East, in the Middle East, and in the South Africa, you know, and other countries where it has been doing very well. We today, inshallah, will be looking on Kenyan experience of waqf management and investment. I saw it as investment and management, but I thought it's supposed to be management because now we manage before we invest. So that's the reason I started with the management, how to manage the waqf. Then after management is how you invest it. And you will know that when we are working on the understanding of this concept of waqf, especially here in Kenya. We have a vision and mission. You know, the vision of waqf in Kenya is for the Muslim Ummah that is prosperous and spiritually fulfilled for the socio-economic development. That's the aspect, and it's being derived from the same aspect of صدقة جارية أو عمل أو ولد صالح يدعو له أو علم ينتفع به. You know, for the same concept that the walad salih, that concept of the socio-economic development. With the mission mainly is to register and administer waqf properties and develop them on behalf of Muslims for their sustainability. So you find that the main objective of waqf here in Kenya is unlike other areas you know, maybe with the Middle East or the Far East, you find that we have a different aspect of, you know, we are working on behalf of the Muslims. And since Kenya, you know, it's not an Islamic country, so we have that Waqf is under the State Department or under the Attorney General. So whatever we are doing, and as we are moving on, you'll see on issues of, for instance, the legislation and authorities of Waqf, the historical background. It started, you know, since 1832, you know, when it started during the Sultanate of Zanzibar. And the first Waqf legislation was 1900. And for the first Waqf institution, it was as the Commission of Waqf and Trust Property in 1904. You know, you'll see that there is a mistake. It says 1994, but it's 1904. And Waqf Commission Act, you know, the first act, chapter 49, was 1948. And the current law was assented, you know, assented on 8th June 1951. And it was referred as Waqf Commissioners Act, which is chapter 109. So the act provides appointment of Waqf commissioners. And these commissioners, they act as executive, and we have the secretariat, which is in charge. And that's the reason before they used to, or even with the current constitution or the current act, it falls under the secretary is the one who is in charge. But you know, when the new act and comes into place, then you know, I think they'll change it from the secretary to the CEO. That's the reason now we normally say it's secretary as well as the CEO, because I'm the accounting officer, you know, of that office. So every waqf made by the benefit of any Muslim shall be administered accordance with the provisions of this act. So at the moment, you realize that we still have the same act, 1951. So you can see that, you know, the gap and the challenges we have, because the act, it's a pre-colonial act. And with the new development, with the new rates, as we'll come and see, you know, based on the properties we have, they're still under the old rates. So in terms of revenues, it's very difficult to meet the current market, and also to change those waqfs into a modern one in terms of investment and in terms of you know, changing, you know, the current waqfs. So we have the purpose of establishing waqf institution. The first aspect is for the religious charity, and as per dictates of Islam, you know, that's one of the, and another thing is the legal and administrative structures, which is based on the concept of the management, and it falls under the Attorney General. So the other thing is, you know, is for the purpose of practicing the concept of having resources that can be utilized based on the maslaha. It's for the maslaha, for the goodness of the Muslims and the goodness of the Muslim community. We have two types of waqfs. I know the waqfs based on the Islamic jurisprudence, there are three, you know, waqf khairi, waqf ahli, as well as waqf mushtarak. But you know, based on what we have in Kenya, we have only two. They're the ones which have been working. And when we are coming to discussing about the properties we have in Kenya, you know, we'll come to see that we have most of the waqf. I may say that 97% of the waqf we have in Kenya, they are waqf khairi. And the 3%, which is our only three waqf, they are waqf ahli. And so for this, we'll come to understand, you know, these, you know, issues which are related to those properties and what is supposed to be done. So we have, you know, legal realities as well as social realities. Legal realities is that the legal framework enacted in 1951 is not effective. It's not like, you know, and it has to go with a new constitution. Recently, we had a new constitution in Kenya, and it's focusing, you know, the focus is more on issues of devolution. So it means there is a need of we having a new act which will be focusing on these devolved governments. We have a devolved governments, which is counties, 47 counties, and we have, national government. So the national government, they have the percentage, and other, percentage of budget, it goes to the devolution, which are these 47 counties. So it seems that, based on what we have, even the WAF has not been, has not been devolved. So we still have that stigma, which has to be improved. And the only way to improve it's through the new act, or the Amendment Act, which will be Act 2019, which is based on the report. I will come to see that, the report of task force, which came up with these amendments, and came up with new, with new acts. So it's still in the parliament. So with the devolved government, we have that it is more enhanced Bill of Rights and more accountable leadership, based on that, and it has more checks and balances compared to, to older one, and it has independence of institutions, and that's the reason we need to reform those institutions. What we have, there's a reformed, strengthened institutions based on Kenya. What we have, we Muslims as minorities, we have two legislation. One of them is Qadhi's Court, and the other one is the Waqf. The Act 1951, Chapter 109. So we have more inclusive and consultative decision-making process. That's a devolved system. So we need an affirmative action so that we can come up with a legal framework, with the legal, aspects, with the, legal systems, so that we can improve the Waqf to the next level. So we have social realities, whereby Muslims in Kenya are not limited in one, geographic region, but based on that act of 1951, you realize that it's specific to the coastal region. When you look at the section 2 of Muslim, it says Muslims are only from the coastal, and they are specific. There are some of the Muslims that are not included. So of course we have to improve so that Waqf becomes inclusive, and people, they have that aspect of of giving or donating the Waqf, so that other people can benefit as well, or they can even be participating in goodness. So Muslims more are enlightened, standard of living changed, cost of living also has changed, market rates, as I said, it's different from what we have now. So we have more investment opportunities today than before. So with the Waqf we had, since it was enacted those times, in modern, I don't remember any investment. I took the office around 8 to 10 months ago, or 1 year ago, and you realize that we are struggling in coming up with new concepts of investment, so that whatever we get with the revenues, we can be able to invest it, or we can even be able to to support, in terms of education, or in terms of medical support, or other social empowerment aspect, which are related to the Waqf. So in that case, there are more investment opportunities today than before, and many Muslims do not know about the commission. Even that's it's a big problem. When we got in, we had to do awareness programs. I have a program of radio now on weekly basis to educate people on Waqf. Waqf is not known. Leave alone the general public. But even we have a challenge with the Muslims teachers. I may say, the alim, in madaris and whatever. It's not being taught. When you do a gathering with the scholars, you realize there is a loophole, there is a gap on that. So these all are related on awareness programs, which is needed. At least people, they know, and they come up, And nevertheless, we have been having a lot of criticisms, since I took over, because why? I started shouting, giving people information. trying to reach to people, women, youth, and other stakeholders, at least to get involved, to get them understanding, trying to meet with business people, rich people, and all sort of clusters in the community, so that they have that understanding of the waqf and the new concept of the of the waqf. So what is needed? Affirmative action, awareness programs, which we have started, bursary issues, we have started issuing bursaries, engagement with stakeholders so that they understand the concept of zakah, concept of sadaqah. And when you look at the most of the Middle East or Muslim countries, or the countries which are are vast in issues of waqf, you realize that the waqf is very strong. And after the government sectors, private sectors, what comes in is a philanthropic sector. And the philanthropic sector, it involves zakah, sadaqah, and waqf. So even this is an issue, for us. So what it needed to be done? The first is analysis of the Waqf Act as it is today, before and that should be for the purpose of understanding the provision therein and the objectives, as well as identifying the shortcomings therein, or developing strategies of addressing the shortcomings which we have, and propose appropriate amendment to the Act. And these amendments have already been done. As I said, it's already in Parliament, awaiting for approval for the new Act, so that it comes with new amendment and new concepts which are moving based on taghayyur al-zaman wal-makan, changes of the time and place and what we have. So we have developed, developing appropriate rules and regulations. This is also an issue which are related to envisaged by Section 26 of the Act. So these also are some of the things which you are working in the office, and the registration of waqf. All these are issues which are related to the management and the issues which also are included in unclaimed property of Muslims. We have one of the section 18, which says that any unclaimed property supposed to come under us as waqf, and that it goes to surplus funds. Surplus funds, as it's known with our waqf concept, it's totally different from other countries. We have waqf, and we'll come and show you in one of the charts or pie charts. It shows that what we have with the waqf 100%, we say that 97% that's waqf khairi, and 3% is waqf ahli. So in this waqf, there is an issue which is different from other waqf or from other countries. The 97% of the waqf, it's waqf khairi, but it has been specified in certain areas. So it's very difficult to invest in that that kind of waqf because it's already specified. So the only way is to invest on those waqf so that we get revenues, and revenues can cater in other aspects. So we have surplus funds, and we have this provision, Section 18 of unclaimed property of Muslims. So all the properties, they come under us, but it has been, nothing has been registered since they came in, and for many years it has not been happening. So also we need a political will and people to come up a capacity where we can develop more, and people they come up with a different understanding. So we have the board, the constitution of waqf commissioners. It's and based on the act, it has to be constituted a body to be known as the waqf commissioners of Kenya. That's how it is. But based on the new act, you cannot say commissioners of Kenya. It has to be commission, the waqf commission of Kenya, because when you say commissioners, it means that the waqf, it belongs to to other people, or there's some, it belongs to those commissioners. And based on the provision of those who are selected, there are some amendments as well which are based on that. So we have the review aims at ensuring nationwide application, inclusion of all Muslims. These are the things which are needed to be amended. An effective and efficient waqf commission to be run as much as possible in line with the corporate entity and trust company. Minimal government control, because it seems that since the PC or the governor have to be appointing or appointing or a minister, removing a minister for a just cause, so these are the aspects which also they need to be amended. Responsibility, accountability, and transparency. These are also some of the things which it has been lacking. Take into consideration the current realities. Some challenges, which made for the new act. These are based by the structure notes, application limited to only the coastal province. Because of the coastal province means these are around 6 counties based on the aspect of work. It has to be changed to be inclusive, 47 counties. And definition of a Muslim, who is a Muslim, based on that, it was also to be changed based on the new constitution. A commission intended to be independent, but in reality, because it is state control, lack of effective and efficient management structures. These are the challenges we have as well. Lack of full control of the work properties. These are challenges also we have. No inventory of work properties. These are the aspects also under utilization of work properties and evaluation, because we don't have those evaluation. No new awqaf registered for long time. At least when we got in, there's few who came in and start registering because of the transparency and because of awareness programs and what we are doing. So some challenges as well: composition and appointment of commissioners by government. So this is also aspect which has to be changed. Criteria of appointment of commissioners, then that's based on the section 6. No involvement of the community in the appointment and affairs of the commission. So they feel the community are not involved and are not part and parcel of the the institution. Community does not appreciate importance of the institution. Some do not even know it exists. And that's when we started awareness programs in TV and and radio, we realized that there are a number of things which people are complaining. They don't know anything about Waqaf. So these are some of the things which deteriorated even that concept of Waqf. So we are trying at least to evolve it and to revive it and to see way forward. So based on the properties and the Waqf Commission of Kenya, as you can see in the pie chart, we have Waqf al-Durri, that's 3%. Waqf Khairi, 97%. We have the section of Waqf or surplus fund, which is based on the GAF, General Administration Funds. These are the awqaf which we own them. Other awqaf, 97%, we normally take 15%, or because of the management and and supervising and administering those awqaf. But you realize that we have a lot of money, but I don't know, the problem, because at the moment the commissioners are not in place. So, but we have already developed a structure, a strategy on how to invest those properties, and we gain extra funds, because if the 97% is Waqf Khairi, there is money for that. We can develop them, and the money it could be shared. From the aspects of investment as well as the aspect of sustainability, which is based on the Awqaf al-Khairi. Summary of properties under Waqf Commissions of Kenya. We have Waqf location, Mombasa. It's about 37, Waqif. We have donors for 37, and the properties is 210. And the masjid in Mombasa, we are supervising around 29 masjid. So it means that we maintain them, because most of the donors donated their properties so that they can sustain the masjid or the mosques. So in Mombasa we have 15 masajid which are under Waqf Commission, and we have 10 cemeteries, the Al-Qubur, and which are under us. In Malindi, which is under the Kilifi County, Mombasa is under Mombasa County, Malindi is under Kilifi County. So with the Kilifi County, we have around 17 Waqif donors, and properties is 110. We have 9 mosques and 3 cemeteries. Lamu, which is under the county of Lamu, we have 7 Waqif, the donors, and we have 14 properties, and 5 masajid, and around, we don't have any cemetery in there. So we come up with a total of donors around 61, and properties and waqf is 334, and the mosque and the waqf is 29, and cemeteries are 13. So when you look at this, you realize that
brother,
yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Brother Zafar Khan, the chairman, please, should be just 15 minutes, because
Yes.
we have other speakers we want to ask. So please, by Mr. Zafar, could you please allow to other people to ask, because we give 15 minutes to the speaker and 45 minutes to the guest to ask to the people. So now the time more than 30 minutes. So could you please give the summary and allow? Yeah, please.
Okay. So the summary, I'll just conclude, because Alhamdulillah, I've done, the SWOT analysis of Waqf Commission of Kenya prospects. We have strength, and the strength, there is potential. I don't want to elaborate on that, and we have, professionals are here, and we have, willing Muslims who are ready, and weaknesses, it's resource mismanagement, weak record of commission assets, and these are some of the opportunities: initiation of poverty alleviation programs, initiation of health schemes, and other number of things, initiation of bursaries and other opportunities which we can support. The threats is internal madhab. We have sectoral differences. We have monopolization of work benefits to a section of the Muslim Ummah. Some, they feel that they're not part and parcel of lack of succession plan. We don't have that. So in brief, I may conclude that, the recommendation is that we need education, through awareness programs. As we said, we need strong social media presence, so that we have started that. We have website before, we didn't have that, so that we can, extend it. We need television, radio fundraising. We started with the radio, but television, networking, international collaboration that's needed, so that we come up with the concepts of national and international investment based on BOT, build, operate, transfer, or joint venture, or any other, collaboration which can enhance sustainability and also development of projects and goodwill and marketing, as well as having concepts of waqfli khutbahs. We have tried to engage our imams so that they can contribute in terms of khutbah, in terms of lessons and training program, as well as a seminar. So with this, I take this opportunity to thank you for the for these remarks and for this presentation. I hope with this outlook and presentation, we can get more people who can have ideas and also contributing in terms of development and in terms of the nuqsan we have in Kenya. Shukran, jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah. Thank you very much, Dr. Ibrahim Blushi, for that wonderful summary of the work that's happening in Kenya. Very interesting perspective, and I suppose it differs from country to country. And it's very encouraging to hear that you have a very rich heritage of waqf that dates back to 1832, mashallah. But as you correctly said, it needs to be in line with the modern environments that you're in, etc. So, mashallah, I think we have a few questions. Dr. Sami will take these questions that are here already, shall we? And then...
yes, brother. Yes. Yeah.
So I see there's a question here, Sheikh. Do you have any community?
Doctor, we have the Brother Zafar Khan, we have Dr. Mustafa Bassam, Dr. Hisham Diftardar, also I think now Dr. Hisham and Dr. Mustafa right now. Yeah. You can ask anyone. Yes.
I see
Dr. Hisham and Dr. Mustafa.
Okay, let Dr. Hisham come on first, inshallah.
And Dr. Mustafa is already here. Yes, in the line, Doctor.
Okay. I'm not seeing the line here. I see there's a hand up from Umar
Yes,
Sharif.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, how are you, Dr. Ibrahim?
Fine, alhamdulillah, Dr. Mustafa.
Nice to
MashaAllah,
meet
it's
you,
nice to see you again.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Welcome, ya akhi. Welcome.
Jazakumullah khair.
It was very nice years in Malaysia, and I'm pleasure here to ask you some questions about Waqf in Kenya, and inshallah, hope the best, inshallah, in Waqf and your deeds there, inshallah.
Ameen, inshallah.
Actually, I want to ask about the kind of the assets of the Waqf assets in Kenya.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you have properties there. What about cash Waqf? You said that you have money for Waqf. So can you tell us some statistics or some numbers about the amount of the assets there, amount of the Waqf assets, if it is in cash Waqf or in properties? Yeah, this is the first question.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second question, please. I looked to the website of the Ummah University.
Yes.
That you are, mashallah, a lecturer there, right?
Before.
Before. So I read that this university is a Waqf university.
Yes.
So can you, if you have some information about this kind of Waqf in education as a university, and what about the suggestions which mention that as a minority in Kenya, as a Muslim minority in Kenya, why you don't focus on this kind of a good example of Waqf? For example, if this is the university, so without spending money for small project Waqfs here and there, so why you don't focus, for example, for the hospitals to be a very excellent hospital as a Waqf, and then I think you will get a good result. So this is my questions, and nice to meet you again.
شكرا جزاك Dr. Mustafa. MashaAllah, يعني you know, it has been a while since we left. We were in the same department, and I think we graduated at the same time. Yes, it's a pleasure actually, and I never knew that I'll be working with the Waqf, but subhanallah, you know, يعني it's a pleasure to bring us together, you know, the Waqf to bring us together. May Allah inshallah guide us and give us opportunity at least to contribute for the Ummah. You know, you ask very wonderful questions, and kind of Waqf assets, we have assets as well as cash. But you know, the concept of cash Waqf, I've just introduced it because it's new to Kenya. So it is, we are working, you know, but we have money as well as assets. But the money, as I said, it is based on those kind of Waqf. So I've been working very hard so that we invest with those money. So alhamdulillah, there are two areas now we are in a plan of building a Waqf plaza or a Waqf apartment. And with that money we have, it's approximately around $3 million US. And but you know, it's more specific on these 97% of the Waqf. So taking them, we need to come up with a methodology of investing through that aspect. But the cash Waqf, it's new, and we have been working on it. There are few people who are ready to register a cash Waqf, and we are working on that. That's a very good remarks and you know, point of view. And with the assets, we have a number of assets worth you know, millions of US dollars, but mostly they're in the old shape. So we are trying even to get more investors who will be ready to come up, you know, with those investment opportunities or products of BOT, build, operate, transfer, or JV, joint ventures, so that we see a span of investment opportunity. With the Waqf of university, a good example, as you said, is University. It's true. University and the what do you call it, Al-Awn al-Mubashir. I think last 2 weeks we had a presentation from our Sheikh and our one of the council actually of University. I was very impressed to see him. It is a Waqf university as well, and it has properties. That's why I say the big problem we have in Kenya, those are Waqf which are not related to us because of that act of Section 6, which it says Waqf is only in the coastal area. So coastal area, and that is in Kajiado, that's another county. So if the new act is in place, then we'll unify all in Kenya. So we'll have a unified, Waqf, and all they'll be registering in us if it's being passed the new constitution. So that's also another area. And since we are Muslim minority, when I took as a CEO of Waqf Commission, one of the areas I realized are very important are education. And we gave bursaries on that because to have a university and whatever, it will be difficult. We have lands. I've proposed to have schools, integrated schools, and even I have a proposition of a university. We are working on something. At least we come up with a university. It will be well-wishers who will be ready. We can even do that in the coastal because University is in another area which is a little bit far. For the Muslim community, to be in this coastal area, we are in need of a university as well as a very interactive as well. Hospital Waqf, we're working on this as well. Inshallah, we have already started to do a contribution through different aspects so that we have a hospital in this. So alhamdulillah, mashallah, we are thinking in the same box, and these are things at least we can think as a collective ummah and see where we can come together, even based on cash crowdfunding. That's a new concept, because when we mention this in Kenya, these are new things. Whereby in Malaysia, in South Africa, in Turkey, in what you have in Jordan, it's normal. But with the understanding and the capacity, when you mention Waqf in Kenya, people they think begging, low thing, cheap thing. That's the aspect. We are trying even to rebuild and reinvest the old houses we have, but we get criticism from people, human rights. They say, no, how can you remove these people? They've been there for long. What can you do for them? So we'll try our level best. We give them options, but we have to improve so that we come back with a lot of money and support our community in terms of education, in terms of medical support and other socio-economic empowerment.
Jazakallah, thank you very much. I see there's a question from Shakib. I don't know if I got this pronunciation of the name correct. Shakib, go ahead.
There is Dr. Hisham now.
Oh, Dr. Hisham.
Hisham.
Can you hear? Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah. I thank Dr. Ibrahim for this comprehensive overview of Awqaf in Kenya. It is obvious that Awqaf in Kenya is facing many challenges, as you said, starting from this Act 1951, which defines Muslims as people from certain ethnicities, such as perhaps Balochis, Somalis, Comoro Islanders, and so on, and leaves out other Muslims from Asian or Arab or European descent. Now, does this mean that these other Muslims are barred or cannot be beneficiaries of Awqaf or cannot make Awqaf, or what is the effect of this Act 1951 on the other Muslims? Also, you mentioned about apparently there is lack of efficient management. This is a big issue in Kenya as it relates to Awqaf, and apparently there are you know, some of the awqaf assets, there are many awqaf assets probably which you are having difficulty in identifying, let alone registering these awqaf assets. So what is this commission, you know, what is the strategy that this commission is doing to identify and reclaim and develop these awqaf that you have? Apparently, you've got a number of idle assets, you know, at your doorstep, which, you know, need to be, you know, put into use for the benefit of, you know, all Muslims, not necessarily just those which are, you know, identified by this Act 1951. Thank you.
شكرا جزاك الله خير الدكتور الفاضل الدكتور هشام for the you know, your remarks and you know, the questions, very difficult questions, but inshallah I'll try to see how I can respond to them. It's true, you know, we have the Act of 1951, which is it's not inclusive as I presented, and the act was biased. You know, some you know, definition of a Muslim to them, it was not clear, and this is because of the capacity, I may say that it is because of that. So most of the people, they felt that they are not inclusive with that definition. Although we had a number of wealth, so that people could not feel their part and parcel of the Waqf. And you know, a question of identifying and registering Waqf, we have been doing that, and it has been done. But you know, I say, you know, most of the problem, it was based on the management, you know, of the awqaf. You know, the selection. People were only selected. I know you are selected, and there were no proper system of operating. Even myself, actually, I knew Waqf after I came back, you know, but I used to hear Waqf, but I didn't know what is it and what is it doing about. But you know, after joining and understanding, I had to read and understand. And any Kenyan, when he's not part and parcel of Waqf, it's very difficult to understand what is going on. So those are the challenges. But alhamdulillah, since I started working with the Waqf, I'll say, you know, I have an obligation of making sure that the awqaf will change in a, you know, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm trying to get, I have lawyers, I have, you know, different advisors in terms of survey, in terms of finance, in terms of legal aspect, in terms of administration. And, you know, because of the gap we have, we don't have commissioners, but we also propose to the government to have people who are fully fledged, they have a proper understanding, they are graduates, they have laws, they have finance. So these are we are waiting for the act. If it is passed, then these things will come in place, because I met the Attorney General and you know, the people who are related to that. So identifying the awqaf, it's true, we have started an inventory concept of identifying all alhamdulillah, I visited most of the awqaf myself. I went to the field. The awqaf which are based in Mombasa, I went to all of them. And the ones that are based in Malindi, I went myself. The one in Lamu, I went to see them. So at the moment, we wanted to do a software program, and alhamdulillah, we started that. It's a zoo release. I hope, you know, if you know, it will be difficult for me, but I could show you how it works. So we have a data of all the awqaf. And the software, it shows awqaf is still, you know, under development, but now we have listed all the properties. That's why I managed to come up with with that brief of what we have. So what I'm going now, you know, is to have contacts of all persons who are they are under Waqf, and identifying all the donors. Who are they? And what are they doing? You know, most of them, they are not alive, but they are families, although it's under us. And our clients, who are they? What are they doing? And how is the property? How does it look like? Is it needed, you know, to be invested? Or what is the, you know, so these are the things we are working in terms of inventory and in terms of data collection and in terms of knowing, you know, what are the strategic plan. Now, alhamdulillah, we have already advertised, and we got, you know, a number of people, professionals, to do a 5 to 10 year strategic plan, which has never been done since the Waqf was created in Kenya. So these are the things, that's why, which are related to this. So I hope, inshallah, Dr. Hisham, your answer, you know, your question has been answered, but, you know, still we need your views and we need your input and, you know, anything which you feel it can bring the changes of Waqf.
Jazakallah, Sheikh. I saw Brother Abdullah Hamad had his hand up, but now I see he's not there anymore. But if Abdullah Hamad is still around, he can put his mic on. If not, I see under Q&A there are a number of questions here. I wonder if I could just pose them to you, Dr. Blushi. Do you have any community-based public waqfs?
Pardon?
Do you have any community-based public waqfs or awqafs in Kenya? I think you've answered that question, but maybe very briefly, quickly.
Public waqfs, community.
Yes.
You mean community waqf?
Yes. Is there a waqf board allowing civil society to establish their own waqfs? Or must it be done through this commission?
You know, based on the act, you know, based on the act, you know, what we have, and based on section 18 of the Act 1951, anyone who is intending to have, who is intending to give a waqf, a donor, or if it's a society or anything, the waqf has to be registered with us within 2 months. And if it's registered with us, it means we'll have a record for that, and it will be very difficult that waqf to be sold or to happen anything, because we have an history of most of the waqf were sold, you know, especially the waqf which are not registered with us. So in that case, we have public waqf which are communities owned, like we have Memon who have their own waqf. And we have, Ithna Ashariya, different sects with the different communities. They have different kind of waqfs. And we have other kind of waqfs which are mainly based on, an area. For instance, they build a mosque, but it's not registered with us. So it has their own school or their own properties. You know, we have that kind of, private waqf, but it's a community, but it's not registered with us. So what we are trying is to have all the awqaf registered, because as far as I'm concerned, and the historical background of our awqaf, they are dated around 1832. During the Sultanate of Zanzibar, and Dr. Abdullah is there, he knows, it was under the Sultanate of Zanzibar. And this awqaf, subhanallah, up to now we have a title deed which is since the protectorate. So it means over 1 century, some of the awqaf. So that means, based on the 3 principles of awqaf, cannot be sold, cannot be given as a gift, and cannot be inherited. This is the aspect where the government managed to protect those kind of waqf. So with the private one, I don't encourage, because I remember when I grew up, there were a number of awqaf. I don't want to name them, but they disappear with the people. We don't know what happened to those kind of civil societies or the public awqaf, which were managed privately. So we have those kind of challenges. So to me, I feel like the role of waqf in Kenya, it can play a pivotal role if it is given mandate and it is supported by intellectuals and lawyers and even political will, so that to be independent and to serve as that aspect. I hope you know the
Jazakallah, Sheikh. Related to that question was another one here. Are beneficiaries of any of the waqafs, are they beneficiaries only Muslim beneficiaries, or does your commission or the Waqf Commission also support non-Muslims?
Unfortunately, you know, for the first time since the Waqf was created in Kenya, it only supported ones. You know, when we gave the bursary around 33, I think it was around, I think it was around $30,000 we gave for the first time. So the beneficiaries were only Muslims, you know, because of their situation and whatever. So we have people who are renting are not Muslims. You know, we have the ones who are renting, and the rental are very low. We have Muslims and non-Muslims. We have areas like in Malindi, we have the whole, you know, area which is one of the high-class area, you know, which is the area is situated. I mean, they build villas, and they pay peanuts. Like per year, they'll be paying, you know, $20 per year. For the whole year, for the rental, they'll pay $20. A place where they're supposed to pay even $1,000 per month, they'll be paying per year around $20. So these are the things which we really suffer in terms of reviving the rates and in terms of you know, beneficiaries. So mainly the beneficiaries, it's only to maintain based on what I have experienced for that period. No any beneficiaries. We have just been managing the awqaf, and you know, the benefit of the waqf goes to maintenance of the mosque, as well as paying the imams, which are around 29 imams, and the ones who are giving adhan, the muadhins. So these are the only. So, you know, in terms of beneficiaries, it has to go through the investment process so that we get the beneficiaries, or we get aspects of revolving and developing more.
Jazakallah, Sheikh. Another question here is, how many new waqfs have been established recently?
Recently, I've got around, you know, since I joined, I got around 3 to 4 waqf. Which, yeah, because I've been vocal, you know, whenever I give speech, I'll give a speech on waqf. I give a khutbah, I'll give a khutbah, you know, and I'll put the aspect of waqf. There'll be a funeral, I'll be given opportunity, I'll speak, and so, you know, with that awareness, alhamdulillah, people are trying to reviving, to come up, you know, to join and to see how they can donate. I've met, alhamdulillah, a number of rich people in Mombasa who are ready to work together with us. We have challenges we have few cases. We have challenges I didn't mention, but you know, we have a nightclub here by the name Casablanca. It's known in Mombasa. It's a waqf place. So we have a number of areas which are nightclubs, but you know, it's a waqf land or a waqf property. So we don't know how it went to those ones. So these are some of the criticism we face. So if there are people who are ready to buy out, you know, why not? You know, if we get people like Dr. Sami, who is ready to come and say, "Look, I'll buy off the property," why not? You know, so that we manage it. And I've tried to follow to see if there'll be people who are ready to support with the rich people. Alhamdulillah, we are trying to revive some of the cases, and there are some lawyers who are supporting us. And unfortunately, in Kenya, when you mention that you're from Waqf, the first thing they tell you, you know, there is this Casablanca, you know, the nightclub. How is it related? So that's only is known in Kenya. So these are some of the challenges we do face. But inshallah, with the team we're working for, you know, we're working with and trying to understand more on the awqaf, I think inshallah, you know, we'll overcome that, inshallah.
Inshallah. One other question here. What is the revenue of the commission?
The revenue?
Yeah. Your monthly expenses to keep your office operating.
At the moment is around, because Alhamdulillah, we don't have, we have a challenge of staffing. All the staff under the Awqaf are only 5. So others, they'll be urgent. And others, they normally work on times, for instance, we give you to work for us on consultation basis. So what we spend per month, it's around, I think around 1 million Kenya shillings, that's 10,000 US dollars. And we have challenge, sometimes based on revenue, we have areas where we get concert. So maybe per month we might get around, per month, at times we get around 50,000 US dollars, or sometimes we get many, depends on those, since I got in, I think we have received almost over 100,000 US dollars, that's I think the whole of last year, I think over that 20 or 30,000, 300,000 US dollars.
There's a question here from Omar Sharif. Assalamu alaikum. Doctor, kindly, the Waqf Act looks more like a regulatory rather than participatory. It is like Waqf Commission is an arm of government. Kindly, why can you put framework for private Waqf establishment? I'm not sure if that question is clear, but I read it as it was typed.
Yes, it's true. Yeah, the Waqf, when you look at the Waqf, it's more on regulatory in terms of the current act. And that's the reason we want to be participatory based on the new act. If you look at the new act, I wish I could share with you, because I'll see if I can share with Dr. Mustafa the report on the at least, even if you'll have, maybe any additional or any other aspects, because it's in Parliament and it will go to the public participation before it is enacted. So inshallah, I'll share to Dr. Mustafa and Dr. Sami, so that we look at it all I have the new act and the old one. So the old one, it was more on regulatory, it's true. But with the new one, I think it has to, it is more inclusive and participatory. But with a private Waqf, this is something which can be regulated based on section 20 of 26 of the Constitution, the current one, whereby through understanding and through what do you call it? We come up with the concept of including, for instance, even now at the moment, we are not forcing people to join our CAF, but it's preferable, because why? If it's an act of parliament, it means it will be very difficult to be changed. And as I say that, my experience since I was growing up, I've come across a number of awqaf and I know them, but the awqaf have changed into personal properties. So to mitigate that, I know the awda'a, يعني الحكم تدور مع تغير الزمان والمكان. What you have in Jordan, or what you have in Saudi Arabia, or what you have in Turkey is totally different with what we have in Kenya. So I feel with the corruption aspect of Kenya, I think the way to go is the regulatory one, and I support that. And I believe we have Dr. Monakitina with us. She'll tell us, because she's one of the lawyers, and she knows that with the corruption aspect is really contemplating in Kenya.
I see we still have a few more questions here, Dr. Sami. How do we do for time?
Brother Muzaffar, just we have Brother Abdullah, Dr. Abdullah Hamad, and he will be inshallah our guest after tomorrow inshallah about Zanzibar. So please can you?
I asked him to come on. I don't know. He didn't put his mic on.
Yeah, he's ready now. He's ready now.
He's ready, but
Abdullah.
Doctor.
I can see Dr. Abdullah. We were in the same university as well, but he's my junior.
Dr. Abdullah, Bismillah. Tafadhal, Sheikh.
Yeah, most welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Doctor.
Yeah, Sheikh Dr. Ibrahim.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm so happy.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. How's the people in Zanzibar?
Allah, it's fine. We're okay.
It's still lockdown, no?
Yeah, but not fully lockdown. It's just partial
Yeah.
lockdown.
Khair, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah, because I missed some part of your presentation, so I have a very, very little question.
Yeah.
Regarding the cash work.
Yes.
You say that you don't have a cash work right now, right?
Yes.
But you have a cash as a work.
We have a cash as waqf.
But specifically for cash work, not yet, right?
Specific for cash waqf, we have 2 people who approached me. And because, you know, we have some lawyers who normally they write a waqf deed. They said, you know, this is new, you know, because they have that old concept. They said, you know, this is new for us and we are not familiar with a cash waqf. So I tried to explain. I said, okay, I'll bring for you article so that you go through, you have a month. Then afterwards, I think the corona, you know, came in and it was a history. No, but
I think you are
we
the
are
same
still
position
engaging
that
on starting those kind of waqfs, inshallah. Not only
I
cash
think you
waqf,
are,
but not only cash waqf, but I'm trying to, I'm advisor of one of the takaful company, takaful African, you know, but we're trying also to link it, you know, with the takaful. Few banks, we're trying also to link with the banks. We see how will be the connectivity between the, you know, the awqaf and the cash awqaf and takaful. How can they work together? These are all new concepts. And the challenge we have with most of the bankers or the Islamic banks, you know, in Kenya or most of the African countries, you know, they have limited understanding and the capacity. When you link them with that, it's new for them. So this needs also awareness. As you said, Dr. Abdullah, the cash waqf, you'll feel, you know, it's a strange thing, but, you know, we need to educate the people. We need to try to penetrate. I've been speaking for the past 6 months in radios. It's new for the people. They don't know. So alhamdulillah, there is acceptance, but we need to take them, you know, tadrijiya, graduality, so that the concept is diluted in the minds.
I hope you are the same position with us in Zanzibar. But we have already at least introduced some seminars, workshops regarding to the cash work.
Yeah.
And people really they accepted it, alhamdulillah, and we have already started at least.
Yeah.
But as you said, we face a lot of challenges regarding this cash work.
Yes.
But inshallah, maybe after Corona, everything will be fine.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Okay, I think in Kenya, you are very rich regarding to the
brother.
work.
Assalamu alaikum.
Pardon?
Assalamu alaikum. Chairman, Mr. Ahmed, our session should be closed 12 o'clock, now 12:08. So I got notes from the engineering. It's interesting, very interesting to know about more about Kenya, but the time is already over. The time already over. That's why, inshallah, tomorrow, after tomorrow, we will discuss about
Alhamdulillah.
You know, Dr.
Alhamdulillah, it just shows the level of interest.
Next time, at least
very interesting, yes.
Only questions and input, so that we come up with new methodology and new tactics, so that we see how we can improve.
Yes.
That. I think also, you know,
we learn from it.
With this, you know, I propose, I don't know, under your leadership and your, you know, understanding, I think there is a need, you know, since we started in this Ramadan after the COVID, inshallah, we do an international conference on issues of experience of each country, only the experience. So from there, then we come up with resolutions and ways of solving those problems, you know, with that, because we'll be coming with different topics, but, you know, in reality and the practicality is not being solved. Yeah.
Yes. We learn from each other, Rabbil Alameen, alhamdulillah. Inshallah. Mr. Ahmed, the chairman.
Yes. Jazakallah. Thank you very much to all who participated. There are a few questions in the Q&A that we haven't had a chance to get to. So my apologies to those brothers who posed those questions. Very interesting to hear about the efforts that are being done in Kenya. We wish you well, Brother Ibrahim Blushi. Inshallah, Allah make your task easy, give you strength to carry on with the work there, inshallah. And we can learn from you, and you can learn from all of the brothers around the world, inshallah, to strengthen the work of Awqaf in Kenya, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. Thank you very much to everybody. We'll conclude with wal asr, inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات تواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. جزاك الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.